Hello there, everyone. Welcome back to our Mandalorian Season 3 predictions. We're going to be talking about Episode 6 or Chapter 22. But before we do so, make sure to like and subscribe to our channel and make sure to check out our combo review for the last episode, Chapter 21, The Pirate, as well as the Bad Batch Season 2 finale, Episode 15, The Summit, and Episode 16. All right. Now, this was a really strong episode in Chapter 21, The Pirate. We got all the storylines that we've been introduced to this season, as well as the ones that have been continuing throughout the show, build up and converge here. We got some really big things happen, especially the Navarro stuff. Navarro has been freed, and now the Mandalorians are going to take the tract of land that Grief Karga had offered to the Mandalorian, Din Djarin, and have that be their base of operations. But the armorer also spoke with Bo-Katan about how she has walked away, has seen the mythosaur, and has also been a prominent figure amongst other Mandalorians, and she is the one that all the clans and groups should unite under. And it looks like everyone here is going to start gathering to take back Mandalore. So that's going to be a huge plot point for the rest of the season, hopefully as early as the next episode. But we also got our New Republic stuff. We saw Carson Teva meet with Zeb, which was really awesome. But more importantly, he went to Coruscant, met with Elia Kane, saw the New Republic wasn't helping him, and then also stumbled upon Moff Gideon's shuttle at the very end of the episode, where he discovered he didn't make it a trial, and also that there's some Mandalorian Beskar embedded into the craft. So were the Mandalorians that he just directed towards Navarro involved with the plot? Are they being set up? Or is there something even more deadlier going on? I'm going to stop rambling here. Liam, what are some of your thoughts on what might happen on the next episode?
Yeah, I think in chapter 22, the way this one ends, it could be a very Bo Katan centric episode. This episode ends with her obviously taking off her helmet, revealing to the rest of the children of the Watch that she is the bridge, and the armor accepting that she is the bridge between all the Mandalorian people. We talked about whether the Mythosaur getting in touch with Bo Katan is going to be making her the leader, her the new kind of chosen one to become the Mandalore, or whether it would make Din because it pulled him down. It looks like it's going to be Bo-Katan, and so with her becoming kind of the centerpiece of this whole season, I can see this whole next episode just be her trying to find her people. I think that's going to be where we focus with the Mandalorian stuff. The rest of the Mandalorians, they're getting settled on Navarro, so I think we could just ditch them and leave. Maybe Den goes with her, and of course Grogu, so that we have those main characters. But I think we leave Navarro, we go searching for the rest of her people, and hopefully a lot of other cool cameos for a lot of other Mandalorians. I think that's going to be the centerpiece of chapter 22. Now, on the flip side, I would love the New Republic plot to return. I'd love them to get back in touch with Carson Teva after he discovers the remains, and we'll talk about that a little later. But after he discovers the remnants of the Imperial shuttle that was transporting Gideon, I would love at least him to get back in touch with them, or them to get back in touch with him, and kind of see what's going on there. But I do think the New Republic plot should come back, and we'll talk about that a bit more. But personally, to me, I think this episode is a Bo-Katan centric episode, and I think the rest of the season really is going to be Bo-Katan centric.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with all your points here. I'm really looking forward to the episode, especially because it has been co-written by Dave Filoni. I think he's going to really flesh out the Mandalorian groups and what they're doing in both Clone Wars and Rebels and bring them into the New Republic era quite fully. My biggest bet here is we're going to get see a Fen Rao. I think he is the perfect type of guy to bring back Din to the plot because Din has been a player in these stories, but not necessarily the guy driving the plot forward. Grogu, especially after his flashback, and even before his flashback, he hasn't had much to do this season. So I'm really excited to see them push forward. I feel like for me, Fen Rao stumbling upon them at this meeting of all the groups with the covert, he'll be able to see Din Djarin with the dark saber, the legacy that he had already told Sabine about, and he could see Grogu and kind of picture him as the new Tar Vizsla, basically. Just he is the inverse. He was originally a Jedi turned Mandalorian instead of Mandalorian turned Jedi. But this could be a great way for all the clans to unite and have some true, long lasting, and meaningful power. He's always struck me as the guy who kind of loves being the mentor now, especially with what he did with Sabine. And I can only see him being by Din's side as an advisor, but especially be there as like a teacher of sorts for Grogu. As far as Sabine goes, I don't think she's actually gonna be here unless we somehow also have Ahsoka involved in this plot. Because for me, I think the way Filoni has talked about the Rebels epilogue, he could still technically fit it before the events of Mandalorian season 2, but it feels more likely that he's fitting in after that. So she would still be on Lothal. She has her promise to keep to Ezra. But if she is here, it's because she's able to make a pit stop during the Ahsoka show and meet with the convert here. Maybe we'll see some of these scenes from Ahsoka's perspective in her own show, but I can see her story, Sabine's story, really converge here, kind of give more emphasis to the dark saber as well, but be quickly in and out. Like she's there to like say this gathering and lend her support to Bo-Katan, but then her and Ahsoka have to leave. I think that's her ultimate thing, just a cameo at best. But yeah, I mean, that's really all I see happening with the Mandalorian so far. I don't think they're going to attack or anything. We'll just see some cool ships and everyone discuss history, how to take back Mandalore, their gripes with Bo-Katan and how she can respond to that. But I think the biggest thing, which I'm going to pass to you now, Liam, is at the end of the episode, Carson Teva stumbling upon the Lambda shuttle, which was transporting Gideon, and it was obviously destroyed, but there's Beskar on there. I mean, what do you think is happening there? Do you think it's a setup, or do you think there's something more to do with Gideon's backstory that we just haven't seen yet?
Yeah, I mean, the way that Prison Break ends, and that's going to be, it's going to be interesting to see if they try and hit the New Republic against the Mandalorians for the rest of the season, if that's like a plot point of the season, because Carson Teva, we've already seen him. He's filling that role of like, Wedge Antilles before him in Legends, or Luke Skywalker, or Han Solo, or Poe Dameron. We're seeing him be that kind of free thinking pilot that is willing to go do things by himself. So does he go to the New Republic with this? I don't think so. I think he's going to try to track down all these leads by himself. Hopefully that means like Zeb and some of the other pilots we see in that bar come back into the fold. That would be really cool. But to me, I think maybe his first move is to go to Din or Bo-Katan, somebody like that, and be like, do you know anything about this? Do you know anything about Moff Gideon? That could be one of his first moves. If he doesn't do that, I think we see him actually tracking down the, I guess, the rest of the clues for the Imperial shuttle. I think if we get him, he is, let's say it's 40-minute episode, he's like 12 to 15 minutes of the episode. I don't think he will be the focus. I think it's going to be a Bo-Katan episode, but I think the mystery of that is going to continue to be pulled. There, we will talk about it. It's just whether it's much, and I could see that next episode ending with him and like another tag of him leading into chapter 23 being the episode that really has a lot of Carson Teva.
Great points there, Liam. I definitely agree with a lot of them. But I don't know. I know I proposed this as a, is it this or that? Is it a setup, or is it something different, more sinister, more of a Mandalorian connection from Moff Gideon's past? And honestly, it's probably both. I think they're well aware of how their influence on the galaxy, the Mandalorian's influence on the galaxy, has changed and how uneven it's been, especially since the Clone Wars. So I can see Moff Gideon, especially with the Imperial Super Commandos that Gar Saxon have, maybe have his own versions. I did mention this in our review. And I definitely want to see him, first of all, show off those really cool designs because I love that. But I want to see him kind of have his own backup army because the scale that he's at in Mando season 2 is it's quite good, but he's more of a guy kind of leading an advanced science division and some officers and some naval ships, more so than the villain that is going to be recurring, be the thorn in Din Djarin's side and has a different level to him. I mean, he is still shocking and scary. I'm sure he's got some cards up his sleeve, even from that front. But I'd love to see a little bit of his backstory come to the present day. I'd love to see him be like, oh, you thought Gar Saxon and his Imperial Super Commandos or something. No, no, I'm a different breed. I myself have been trained in the Mandalorian ways more so than you can possibly imagine. I'd love to see that like re-evolution of his character happen here. Will we see it right away in this episode? I don't know because I think that's where a lot of the New Republic stuff comes in. I can still see a lot of investigation work. by Carson Teva happen here. We still haven't seen the droid bar, so I don't know if there is a point where Din Djarin is also contacted by Carson Tevin as like a heads up, like, hey, I'm seeing this. I hope it's not you guys. Prove me wrong, sort of thing, and I'll do my part in trying to clear you guys' name. But right now, it's not looking so good. We could totally have Din Djarin leave for that sort of mission, and then get a little bit more of the Gideon stuff in his own separate scenes, and then really build up to a confrontation really happening in 7 and 8. There are just some shots that we still have from the trailers that I don't know really fit into the current flow of the story unless they draw Din Djarin out on his own separate storyline here. If that means he's tying into the New Republic and Carson Tevez is the reason for doing so, maybe that's the way it goes. I don't know. I just think we're going to see Gideon super strong. We're going to see Din Djarin drawn out. Whether he's framed or whether he's trying to clear the name of the covert, I don't know that. But I think that is the direction to really re-energize Din Djarin fully in this episode and give him a little bit more autonomy and give Grogu some actual work to do since the flashback in episode 4 and all his stuff in episode 2. Well, I think that's all we have to say for now. Thank you guys so much for watching our Mandalorian season 3 episode 6 chapter 22 predictions. I hope you enjoyed what we had to say. Hope we actually line up with some things that happen next episode and we get a lot of cool story focused but still fun cameos happening here. Make sure to watch our combo review of Mandalorian Chapter 21, Episode 5, and the Bad Batch Season 2 finale, Episodes 15 and 16, that we dropped on Wednesday. If you haven't already, also make sure to check out our Heir to the Empire Legends Book Club review. We had a great time talking about that, and we have some tie-ins to the Bad Batch Mandalorian there as well. And we're definitely going to follow up with Dark Force Rising once the Mandalorian ends, because we think Heir to the Empire is getting recanonized in some way. Just as a heads up, there is no Jedi Fallen Order Let's Play today because we just did it last night and we are releasing this video when we're both out of town. And again, thanks so much for watching. We'll see you guys next time.